Are you ready? Plug her in, let's go. Zach Helm is another new member, and we appreciate having Pavement Technologies on board. So while you're plugging in, I'll find your...
Is this this one right here?
Yes.
Okay.
Goodness. Well, that's interesting. What's your bio? There it is. Okay, Zach is a technical representative for Pavement Technology, Inc. with over 17 years of experience in pavement preservation. He works closely with municipalities and departments of transportation across Ohio, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia to implement asphalt rejuvenation strategies that extend pavement life and optimize maintenance budgets. Prior to joining PTI, Zach spent 6 years with Strausser Construction, a Colas company, where he educated public agencies on a wide range of preservation techniques, including crack sealing, microsurfacing, and cape seals. His career has been driven by a passion for helping engineers and public works professionals to manage infrastructure networks under tight financial constraints.
I'm going to talk loud. Can you guys hear me okay? I do not like to sit behind a podium. That's just not, I walk around a lot.
We've got a wireless, I'm sorry, right there. Yeah, because for the video, we got to have that. Okay, I don't think your computer's going to fall. I think we're okay now.
Sorry about the technical difficulties.
Is it okay if I touch
Yeah,
it?
do whatever you got to do. Yeah. Okay, can you guys hear me? Pretty good, great. My name's Zach Helm. I work for Pavement Technology. Really excited to be here. Just a little bit about my background, 17 years in the pavement preservation industry. Focused a lot on DOTs, municipalities, on various tools to help extend pavement life. I used to work for Strausser Construction, Colas company. Worked a lot in microsurfacing, cape seals, fiber mat, fog seals, you name it. Mike, actually, when I left, I said, Mike, you need to come on board, and you took my air. You were my best customer at Strausser Construction. And so Mike came on, and excellent person to take over the role. Work with Pavement Technology since 2019, where we specialize in asphalt rejuvenation. That's all we do. A little bit of quick story. I've been in pavement preservation. I tell people, yeah, 17 years, but really since I was 2. My dad grew up on the back of a microsurfacing machine, and then he also has been with Pavement Technology for 45 years. And I can remember some stories. I have a twin sister, and my sister and I would fight all the time, nonstop. We just didn't get along sometimes. And my dad would say, all right, son, you're going to work with me. We're going to give mom a break, and you're coming to work with me. So my dad would take me to customer visits all the time, and they'd go meet at McDonald's. They'd exchange a sandwich and a coffee, and next thing I know, they're doing a deal on Reclamite or pavement. I was like, is that all it takes? It's just, a hamburger and a coffee, and then all of a sudden they're buying the product. Obviously, there's a relationship ahead of time. But after the meeting, he would actually take me to the roadways. And he would say, Zach, I want you to come here and look at this. He goes, we did that side, but not that side. And he'd almost put my nose in it. He'd say, what do you think about that raveling that we didn't treat? I remember telling him, I said, Dad, if you take me home right now, I'll never fight with my sister ever again. It's how much I was not a huge fan of this industry at first, but now I've grown to really love it. I'm passionate about this, so I like to talk about things when it comes to pavement preservation. And I like to talk to you guys because I'm up here and we're always giving you guys a spiel. I would like you guys to kind of speak to me a little bit. And I know this is a simple roadway, but there's no wrong answers. Well, there can be, but this is pretty easy. Can you guys give me some descriptions of what you are seeing with this pavement right now? Talk to me. You don't have to raise your hand. Just yell at me what you see. Centerline joint. First thing everyone brings up. Kind of open it up, right? Keep going. Anything else? Oxidation. Good. Keep going. Tree cover. Canopy. A lot of people don't even mention that. How old do you guys think this road is? Roughly, if you had to guess. 2 years? It's a 2-year-old road, actually, Rex. Is that what you said? That's you that said? Oh, you said that, Mike. That's a 2-year-old. You've seen this presentation. That's cheap. All right. So, anyways, yes, it's a newer roadway. What I see, people a lot of times will say, you know what? This is a good road. Let's not do anything to it. There's no preservation needed. We would argue there is a tool that can actually maintain this really well. And so we're going to talk about asphalt rejuvenation. Again, sometimes the road turns in like this, And then we say, oh crap, we need to go do something, and let's go put something on it real fast. So we see this from time to time, right? And I am a huge crack seal fan, by the way. I think crack seal is a tremendous tool. As anything, there's a right place, right time. This is not where we want to see crack seal. This will not sell you more crack seal jobs when you do it like this, right? And so again, I'm a big fan of crack seal. It's not to make fun of the product, obviously just in the wrong application. So, but you'll see me a big fan of these applications. Some of the things that we see with asphalt that's challenging from the start, and we're seeing this quite a bit. Asphalt's refined more and more these days. Manufacturing at the plant's really hot. Placed down at high temperatures. The asphalt's in place at high temperatures. And then we have the introduction of more wrap. Wrap is not a bad thing. I understand we have some sustainability goals we're trying to hit. But if I were to talk to a lot of you, and I talk to roadmasters with your super paves, the first thing they always tell me is that, Zach, it seems like this asphalt, the good stuff, is just cooked out more of this stuff. I hear that all the time. Our pavements dry out faster. They're more oxidized. They crack sooner. I was talking to someone at Russell Standard right there. We had talked about that, right, about how it just seems like these pavements are just drying out really fast. We hear about that a lot, especially in the PA area. So that's kind of why we look at this. And so we look a lot about rejuvenation. And rejuvenation's main goal is to restore the maltine fractions in a binder. And so I get a little bit nerdy here, but if you're an engineer, you might like the word maltine. Maltine is what keeps asphalt flexible and sticky. It is also the component in the asphalt that weathers. So that is the component that we want to add back into the asphalt. It's the component that's most important in a binder. When I talk to council members, we look at this, a granola bar. I have kids. When they open up a granola bar, what do you think happens when they open up the wrapper? Immediately what? It crumbles all over the floor, right? Rice Krispie treat, I like it because it's flexible and it bends a little bit. So when I talk to council members, we are trying to make a road more like a Rice Krispie treat and not like the granola bar that you see on the left-hand side, or the hard granola bar, if you will. And so this is a thing that we see quite a bit. Pavement is flexible, it stiffens, and then it brittles. And I took this off the Transportation Research Board. Beginning immediately after placement, asphalt binder undergoes oxidation, which increases the stiffness and brittleness of the binder. And so we look at rejuvenation not as something that should go on pavement 5, 7, 8 years, where maybe a micro should go, or another surface seal. We are actually doing rejuvenation sometimes the very next day after the asphalt's placed. Not always. We'll get into some of those case studies. I live in Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, Ohio puts out 3 different paving projects. You'll see a line item for asphalt rejuvenation. It gets placed before the striping even goes down. It's being built into city jobs. It's about 30% of our work right now. We'll kind of get into timing of this, but we want to show you guys where this should be used, where we do not recommend to place it, and we'll talk a little bit about the state level too, where we're seeing the state potentially utilize it as well. This is the application going down. There are different types of rejuvenation. They're studying some of the bio-based, there's some vegetable-based. This is the maltine-based application right here in the reclamite that we utilize, but there are other applications out there that you guys can look at that NCAT is studying as well. And we tell people quite a bit that we like rejuvenation 3 years or less, generally speaking, on a pavement. Some people want to push it 5, 7 years. We will show you that the earlier you do rejuvenation, the more benefit it can actually have to your asphalt. And we kind of call ourselves the NCAT of rejuvenation. I know NCAT is here, but we have hundreds and hundreds of treated and untreated areas, and I'm going to show you that. We have our own little test track throughout the Midwest, in the South. We have test sections everywhere with this, and so we study this industry day and night. Rejuvenation is all we do. We're very passionate about this. There's a lot of suppliers that will come to us to ask us to look at their rejuvenation treatment. So we know about a lot of the treatments that are out there. We just think the earlier you can put it on the pavement, the better success rate we are getting with it. So I want to show you this. It's the first step in a pavement preservation program. It's designed to put back what was taken out of the asphalt. We kind of talked about that. There's a little bit of confusion. Some people want to call rejuvenation fog seals. I know the terminology is rejuvenating fog seals. I look on here, you know, I look at crack sealing fog seals. I'm upset. I'm like the redhead stepchild here. I don't have rejuvenation on here. I get it. But you guys probably meant fog seals because we are under that category a little bit. Fog seals are the black coatings that we've been talking about on chip seals, right? That's how we classify a fog seal. Rejuvenation is different than a fog seal generally. This goes into the asphalt. This is not a topical treatment by any means. So you can call it a rejuvenating fog seal. I just like asphalt rejuvenator because when I say fog, it gets kind of confusing. Like, oh, you're talking about those black emulsions that you put on chip seals or asphalt sometimes. So again, low cost, low impact on the residents, provides a really good ROI treatment for your toolbox. I'm going to show you the process here. Let's see if I can hit play. I just want to show you kind of, it's very general what the treatment looks like, but this community does rejuvenation 1 year after the pavement has been placed. It's push button form. They have a pavement management system. Every year, whatever they pave in 2024 gets paved in 2025. This is a 1-year-old road. Look how gray and oxidized it already is. Look at the center line joint. And this is the application going down. We have Bearcats within the company, and our rates vary. We just don't go out and shoot one rate on every pavement. We always test every roadway and lock into a rate. Generally speaking, we're at a 0.05 to a 0.08 gallons per square yard. But this is kind of what it looks like from an operation standpoint. And then you can already see it working on the other side. Here's our second pass. And I want to show you, notice the overlap. We're going to get into that. Why is the material overlap really important? Because that center line joint always accepts more material. We have a lack of density there. So that joint is always getting 2 coats of the reclamite. That's a big thing for us, is making sure we get 2 coats there on that center line treatment. This is 15 minutes later. We're seeing penetration of the material. You should not see a lot of pink on top of the roadway. You don't want the material to disappear right away, because if it does, you get a density issue, right? But you also don't want it to sit on top for a half an hour, right? We want to get a nice 15 to 20 minute soak time, maybe 25 minutes, and then we will come back and we will sand the pavement afterwards. And just provides a little bit of traction. It soaks up the excess and it gets traffic on it very quickly. So that's just the operation. I want to show you kind of what the rejuvenation looks like. There's been some advertising like, oh, we can rejuvenate without sand, no sand, no sand. We will tell you this. We think sand, we could rejuvenate roads and not use sand. We think the extra insurance there for safety is very important because it's temporary. We sweep it up the very next day, and it's very minimal. And so we actually like the added sand. We think that is a benefit to the overall process itself. We have seen products say they don't need sand, and they can slick up a pavement pretty bad. You want to have that sand down. We think it is important. 24 hours after sweeping, and that's the look of the surface, darkened up. Now, one thing that we know about the pavement preservation industry, everything looks good after 1 day, right? 2 days, right? You always want to have something that looks nice the day after, and we do have that. But the really thing with rejuvenation we have to really focus on is results. And results are going to be really important to share some treated versus untreated case studies that we have throughout. This is actually a township in the Pittsburgh area. They have a large rejuvenation program every year. And the guy over there has talked about how a lot of the super paved mixes just seem like they're drying out a lot. So we did a large program for them, and we only treated one side of the pavement and didn't do the other on one section of roadway. This is 4 years later. I want to show you the difference in the pitting and oxidation right here. Just, let's see here, if I got a laser pointer here, Rex? The top? There you go. The top right here is more pitted, and also it just got done raining. Notice where the water is sitting in the voids right here. This is completely dry, and the surface is a lot tighter. So after 4 years, this looks even better if you were to go over today. This is now almost 5 or 6 years old. So really good result, just a treated and untreated area. We've taken many folks out to this pavement to show them some of the benefits that it can have to your asphalt as well. This is a cool pavement. We are big in testing. Again, I joke around about the NCAT thing. This is a test we did in the township. Actually, Mike, this is in your backwoods in Delaware County. We only did one side of the pavement. We put the tar paper down, and we didn't do this side. Well, we had a tremendous amount of rain last year with Hurricane Helene. And we came out when it started to dry off. Here's the treated area where we did the rejuvenation the next year. This is 13 months later. Same exact roadway. One of the first things you will notice with a rejuvenation is the ability for moisture to wick right off the roadway, which provides a tremendous seal. I live in Ohio. They love this application because it keeps the salt out of the pavement. It's very beneficial when you talk about salting roadways. But if you look at the bottom photo, same roadway, look at the difference in the cracking we're starting to see. And then look at this over here and how tight that roadway is. Same roadway too on a dry day. But you can really see, that's the first thing a public works director will notice. A city engineer will say, Zach, my roads dry off a lot faster with the rejuvenation treatment. So really cool pictures to share with you guys to see how that's working. This is my fog seal example I show people. I am a huge fan of fog seals. There's GSB 88 I'm a fan of. There are good treatments that are out there. But how are we different than maybe a black seal coat? And I'll show you the difference here. This was a black seal coat this agency was going to put on their roads. And we said, hey, before you put the black seal coat down, this is a 1-year-old road, can we put a rejuvenation product down just on one side before you do the seal coat? So they said, yeah, we'll do it. This is the look 1 year after. Look at the difference. And then this is now in 2019. They resealed it with a black seal coat, but this is the difference right here, same pavement. And then this is right before they paved it. This is the opposite side. The only difference is we put Reclamite on this before they ever put their seal coat down. So again, black seal coats are good. We recommend them. We're always promoters of that. But there's a difference when you're actually going inside the asphalt and combining with the chemistry in the binder. So just want to share that photo with you because it shows the real difference between a fog seal and maybe what a rejuvenation treatment is intended to do as well. Anyone ever use robotics here? Is James, where's Golden here? James, you've heard of robotics. They're a pavement management company. They're no longer around. We work for a township, Peters Township in Pittsburgh. You can call Peters Township. They've been using Rejuvenator longer than anyone in the state, I believe. They actually did a breakdown of their roadways. They use Rejuvenator at year 1, and then they do a retreat at year 3 or 4 with it. And robotics did a study. They had no clue about preservation much. They just said, hey, what's this treatment you're using? We noticed your roadways are in really good shape. And so robotics found that, knowing that they use some type of maintenance and that their roadways were lasting a lot longer than their other municipalities that they work for. So they had virtually 0 roads failing in the community. Big into crack seal, Peters Township. Again, crack seal is huge. Big into rejuvenation. 2 of the lowest costs, but it gets them a big bang for their dollar, is the rejuvenation and the crack seal. This is a good picture. 1 through 5 was their ranking. Their overall ranking on their system was 1.87. So 1 being the best, 5 being the worst. That was their cumulative road ranking at Peters Township. So cool case study here, and wanted to share that with you guys a little bit. Can we retreat? We can, not always. What we tell people about retreats all the time is that a retreat validates the use of your first rejuvenation treatment. And what does that mean? So here's a roadway that we had rejuvenated 3 years ago, bottom half of the photo. They had such good performance with it. As you can see, this is the treated, untreated. Look how much more open that is. They said, hey, can you come and do the rest of the road for us? And it was still a good candidate, but this is the area that we rejuvenated. Look how much more of the material sits on top of the treated area. So retreats can happen, but they also validate the prior rejuvenation, which we want to show you guys. So when we do a retreat for a community, we want to know if they're a retreat because we're going to have a little bit more traffic control. And they're going to have to know our application rates a little bit more because the tightened surface, the material stays on top a little bit longer. So you can definitely retreat. Not all cases, but there are some of that benefit to the agency. Rex, how much time do I have left? Okay. I feel like I'm going fast here. Any questions so far, guys? Yes, sir.
Can you reuse the sand or not?
Everyone asks me that. We cannot. And I wish we could, because I feel like there could be something we could. We do not reuse the sand. That's a good question. The other day, we had a person that had 4 inches of processed millings, and they put the 4 inches down. We made a brand new access road for them by just spraying the millings with Reclamite, and we can actually tighten the millings up quite a bit. I wish we could reuse our sand quite a bit. That's a good question. This is a roadway. What do you guys notice about this? We already Reclamited this whole road full width. What do you notice about this road? You guys see anything in the center line there? Right, the center looks like we haven't touched it yet, right? We talk about that density issue. That just guzzled in all of the material. So we actually came back and shot a 2-foot bar on this. So this is getting its 3rd application on this road because remember, we always overlap. And so it just shows you the center line, why we have so many issues in our center line. In Ohio, they're really looking at that center line problem. That just shows you the density that we can have, just even in residential areas, quite a bit. This is Sawmill Road out of Columbus. Super paved pavement, Mike Metzger, correct? This is your road you guys built at Delaware County. At the top section, we built in the rejuvenation treatment right after it was paved. And the bottom section, we did not. And we'll kind of get into the PCI scores here, but this crack seal joint kind of fooled the punch list guys. They thought this was a paving joint. And so they put a crack seal right across it. That's actually where our test just stopped. But notice the difference in the centerline pavement, and that is why we do a lot of overlapping with the material. It has a great effect on the center line if you get to it early enough on the pavement itself. I actually had James Golden James, believe it or not, he lives, James, you live, what, 30 minutes from me? So I'm like, I know a guy who does PCI rankings. I had James go out there. 95 was the treated area. 85 was the untreated. So we were validating the pavement performance just on the PCI of the pavement. And James, you can talk about the center line a little bit with me. Like, your deduct was a lot more on the center line, correct?
Yeah, this is actually an interesting case that went around everybody. So this is a client of ours as well for pavement management. After they did this project, about a year later, I got a call from the city engineer that said, hey, something's wrong with these ratings. I said, well, what's going on? They said, well, these roads show that they're green and they're supposed to be blue. If you remember my slide, right? Green is good and blue is excellent. We sank a lot of money into this project. I said, hey, hop on the road insights platform, take a look at the video with me. What do you see? Right away, he said, oh my God, the joints are wide open, right? So when you're looking at ASTM distresses and cracks, this is wide open. It's around $2 You probably put about a pencil in there, right? 3/7 inch, the medium severity distress. So that's why you see the 10-point deduct. In the treated area, as Zach already pointed out, that joint is not blue. Therefore, it doesn't exist. So hopefully that explains that pretty well.
These are some other local agencies where we've done the rejuvenation and why the overlap is important. I keep showing that. These are actual joints, treated and untreated areas. Real cities you can come out and visit. Again, we always put test samples down. You'll see at the end of my slide, it's very important because, guys, we take it with a badge of honor. What do you think people used to call rejuvenators back in the day? Snake oil. We take it with a badge of honor. We say, hey, come on out, let's show you. We are seeing a lot of interest in rejuvenation, a lot of growth, and it's because of these tests. It's really test and validate, right? And it's really important we put these down. So these are some really good areas that we've got here. And rejuvenation is not just meant for the local level. Again, we are municipal heavy quite a bit. I actually cover the city of Nashville, Tennessee. They're very big proponents of rejuvenation. TDOT, though, does this application on their centerline joints. ODOT is doing some of this on their centerline joints. Rumble strips are a big deal right now. I don't know about Pennsylvania as much, but in Ohio, they're putting a rumble strip on all 2-lane roadways right now. Every shoulder is getting a rumble strip. And this is a great application for rejuvenation just along the rumble strip area, the shoulders, centerline treatments. You have opportunities at the state level. This is actually the Ohio Turnpike. Just shows you we're just going 2 foot wide, sometimes 3 foot wide, depending upon what the spec says. And we're spraying this down on brand new asphalt. The Turnpike at Ohio, they build this into every job before the striping goes down, generally speaking. Now, they'll have some temp here, but this is having really good success on that centerline joint, and it's very inexpensive to utilize. It's, like one engineer said, it's immaterial to the total of the job, but very effective. This is actually a look here at a district here. Here's before. They actually put the striping down before we got there. The during and after. You'll notice we do not obliterate the stripe. There is some debate if it does hurt some of the reflectivity, but you will notice we do not obliterate the stripe. You can go right on top of it. We do probably recommend doing it before the striping goes down if you can, but it does not take out the stripe often. Here's a difference 6 months later. The engineer out here at this district noticed an immediate tightening on the centerline joint. It might be hard to see from the photo, but you can see where exactly our 2-foot spray bar was in that area. So really good performance there. Again, rumble strips, shoulders, centerline, really good look at applications in the state. It's Kentucky. Kentucky did this on their shoulders in 2013. We uncovered this test section in 2019. And look at the difference with the cracking there on the shoulder length. It works very well. There's actually really good treatments. When your treatments become a little bit older in the pavement, you can put fog seals on the shoulders. I think that's great. You can microsurface the shoulders. Mike and Strawser, you've done that. We like Reclamite too right away, build it into the job because it can't get plowed off. This goes into the asphalt, so this will not get plowed off. And so that happens in cold weather climates sometimes. I believe this is Minnesota DOT. We just did the 2-foot wide rumble strip, and notice we didn't do the rest of the shoulder. Look at the difference in cracking in the area we did not treat. And so, again, can have really good effect on the rumble strip area as well. This is TDOT. TDOT has some specifications that they utilize. We talked about the moisture. That's the first thing you notice on the treated and untreated area. That's what we really like to see. On a rainy day, if you catch it, it's really cool to see. Where's Ken? Is Ken Messina in here at all? Ken? I can't find him. We were talking about this. He goes, you know, the hard part about this is you just can't see it. And it works really well, but you just don't see it. You can see it on a rainy day when it dries up. You can definitely see the benefit of it. So, but we were having that discussion sometimes. These applications can be difficult because you're not seeing something black on top or something like that. That's about it. My final thoughts are rejuvenation is more than just viscosity change. I see a lot of people will rejuvenate one side and not the other, and they'll core the pavement, and they'll say, look, we softened the binder. We have to be careful with that. Does anyone know what I can put on asphalt to soften it that would not be good? Huh? Diesel. Who said fuel? A gas. It is really important that we look to see what is in our rejuvenation. So we are big believers in SDS sheet transparency, know the chemistry. So if someone has a rejuvenation treatment, how are you softening the asphalt? We do not want to have any solvents in there. Really important to look into that. So if you have a supplier that comes to you and says, hey, we want you, a contractor, to put down a rejuvenator, you've got to hold them accountable. What is in your product? Show me a bunch of results where you've got treated versus untreated. It's really important because we will get called snake oils in this industry if we just put all these products down that say they are, but we don't have that field performance. So really important with that. We think performance spec is very important. You know, show where you've done the work and you actually have life extension. We think performance in the rejuvenation category is a lot different than like a micro surfacing. You guys have statewide specs for micro. Rejuvenation is very high level because that can mean a lot of different things. So we think performance specs are really important when it comes to that process. Your best test track is your state. We love NCAT. We love Minnesota DOT. We think NCAT is great. We will tell you, though, in Ohio, we have some different payments in NCAT, and so we always tell people, if you really want to test a product, the best thing you can do is put this down in your backyard and then watch it over time. There's nothing better than a field visit. I know we've got analytics, and we can do all kinds of lasers, put the eyes on the pavement. It's one of the best things. It's old school. I know it is, but I know some of you guys are old school here. It's the best way we can actually look at performance is eyes on the pavement itself. And then that's about it. These are some other tests that we have all throughout the state. Again, treated and untreated areas. But yeah, that's kind of it that I have for you guys. Any questions for me at all, guys? Questions?
Mike, how about the tackiness? Does it stay tacky for a while?
It does. So, good question. We will lay down the product, and what we one thing we notice, especially in cooler temperatures, it stays tacky for a few days. That's a good sign. You do not want a pavement that is not tacky after rejuvenation. So people always ask, is the skid bad the next day? We sweep up the sand, it's actually tacky. We don't have a skid problem at all. So it does stay tacky for a few days. So absolutely. What's that? A little bit. You can walk on it and kind of hear a little bit of a sound, but after about 4 or 5 days, you don't notice it at all. It goes away. It's not permanent by any means. And actually, as a rep, I do want to see that. If it's dry, it won't have that sound to it. So, good question. Yes, sir.
You fog or micro with it, how long are you waiting?
I'm sorry.
When you fog or micro with reclamite, how long are you waiting?
When I put the reclamite, how long between the traffic gets on?
No, between putting the micro on top of reclamite. You mentioned fog everywhere. You mentioned a fog.
Oh, I guess I'm explaining. Oh, gotcha. When do you want to put another process on top of reclamite? You can do it the next year if you want to. Like, there's no issue with the reclamite having bonding issues. If you were to put a fog on top or a micro, I would hope we would delay the need for another treatment. But yes, let's say something happens, you're like, I want to put a micro on it next year because the agency is very proactive. You can go ahead and do that. There's no issues at all. Good question. Was that? I cannot put reclamite or rejuvenation on top of a fog seal. It won't penetrate. So if there's already a black seal on there, I won't be able to do anything with it. So I have more of the issue than what you would have the issue with. Yeah. Question? Yes.
You showed that pavement with the center line joint open up.
Yes.
Can I crack seal that and then reclamite it, or should I reclamite it and then crack seal it?
That's a good question. Why would you ask that? That's not even that. Yeah, I don't even know the answer to that sometimes. But people, if you were to get there, like in Pennsylvania, we see this a lot. They'll pave a roadway in PA, and I like this process. They crack seal it immediately down the center line joint. I think that's a great practice to do. Our material sits a little bit on that black seal, and it just kind of goes onto the road, so it's fine. We can spray on top of crack seal. But ideally, you'd probably like us to spray before the crack seal goes down, but we spray on top of crack seal all the time. No problems. Good question, though. Anything else?
Regarding friction.
Yes.
And safety.
Yes.
Do you have a speed limit you won't touch, or is it
Um,
curves and all the, everything?
We just did our first ODOT project, 55-mile-an-hour road. I probably would not put rejuvenation on a high-speed interstate, and why is that? Am I nervous about friction? Somewhat. What I'm really nervous about is there's a lot of polishing on highways. So you have all that traffic on there, right? It polishes the aggregate. You can't get material into the roadway if you have a polished surface. So I don't want this material to sit on top. I want it to go into the roadway. So we stay away from high-speed interstates generally, except for the 2-foot wide. Secondary roads that are more rural, that don't have a lot of traffic, we don't have a lot of concerns with friction on there, assuming they're not steep banks or curves, but we're probably doing more full width, more rural secondary ODOT routes. But good question. What did we do in Charleston, or what did we do for, you came to a job in,
I was in a job about a month ago in North Carolina. It
Yes.
was maybe 50 mile an hour.
okay,
2 lane.
yes.
Maybe if not 45 or 50.
Was it heavily traveled? I don't cover it in North Carolina. Okay. Yeah, so they're looking into that. I probably have a different mentality than maybe down in the South they do, but it's good that you were on that job to see it. Did it take a while to penetrate? Did you get, or was it?
Not too bad.
Okay.
And it was brand new.
Okay.
And it was already, I mean, this asphalt was 5 months old and was already turning gray.
Yep.
Hadn't cracked yet, but
Yep.
yeah, it was.
Yep.
The DOT just going, what do we do with this stuff?
Yep. Yes. Yes, sir.
So, like, you have to wait a year, or like you were saying, before it gets polished, they black out and then do it 6 months later before polish?
They could, but I've even seen highways polish pretty fast even after. I mean, sometimes this is the direction of the pavers and where the trucks go. They can really polish that asphalt. So that's why we don't go to a roadway and say it's a candidate. We always spray a 50-foot test section. And there are jobs I'll just non-perform because we just cannot get material onto the roadway. We don't want the product to sit on top. That's the thing we do not want. And so we will never come out to a job and say, yep, there's a .06, let's go. You're getting a .0. We are testing every roadway that we do. It's very important. So, any other questions? Thanks for letting me be a part of this, Rex. Thanks for letting me be a member. So, thanks, guys.